Hello everyone, this is Venkat. Welcome to Venkat's Tech Talk. This is the third part of C Sharp version 8 presentation. In the last session, we looked at what are all the new features that are available in C Sharp 8 and what are all the features that are in progress. And also we have looked at nullable reference type. So let us continue with one more new feature in C Sharp 8, which is async streams. What exactly is this async stream? So let us try to understand. So we know that we have a TPL, task parallel library, was introduced in C Sharp version 4, and in C Sharp version 5 we got new features like async await and async programming, where we can develop write methods that can be called asynchronously. So that was a feature introduced in C Sharp 5. So together TPL and async programming is a powerful concept where it allows us to do a parallel programming and also helps us to write methods using writing methods that can be called asynchronously. So in other terms, like async await is a simplified alternate to a threading that allows us to create methods that can be called asynchronously, which is, in short, they are referred as an async methods. This is a powerful feature to develop parallel programming. So but in this async await, there is a limitation where we cannot return a stream of data from an async function. It means we can only return one single value. We cannot return an enumerable from an async function. That was a key limitation. So C Sharp 8 tries to resolve that limitation. Now it introduces a concept called async stream, where we can return a stream from an async method. So we know that we can return an uh, enumerable from a method, a normal method, which is an I enumerable. So we cannot return an I enumerable from an async method. But now in C Sharp 8, it introduces a async version of all the key stream enumerable related classes, and we will be able to return an enumerable, but it will be an I async enumerable. Okay. So if you look at this approach, this tries to give a solution to an Java or JavaScript equivalent uh, observable kind of thing. Like JavaScript has an observables, like where a producer can push the values and a subscriber can asynchronously subscribe for that notification. And Java has a reactive programming, so it is the answer to these kind of approaches that are available in Java and JavaScript. So basically we will have a functional style of programming where we can call an async method, and we can asynchronously call the method and wait for the method to return values in increment until the method completes its execution. So that's the feature of async stream. Okay, so basically with this new feature we got some couple of new interfaces, classes available. Yep, so we have IEnumerable, which is a non-async version. We have an equivalent IAsync enumerable, and we have enumerator. For that equivalent, we have an async enumerator. Sorry for a typo, it's not IAsync enumerator, it's an async enumerator. And we know that we have a for each to iterate through the enumerables, but here because we know async method needs to be called through await or a task, through a task. So we have a new for each approach which has an await for each, where we can call an async enumerable in a loop. So these are all some new interfaces and class. And also one important thing just I want to bring to notice, before this C Sharp 8 there is a very famous library available in NuGet. Because if you are thinking, oh, this is not something new. Already have a NuGet package for this one. Yeah, that's true. We have an async enumerator package library in NuGet. So where it provides the same classes async enumerable, and it has some different classes to achieve the async stream handling. So it's also a very famous library. It's there since 2016, so popular library. But with this feature in C Sharp 8, now this functionality is going to available natively within the .NET collection framework. That's the difference. Okay. And also, when I was experimenting this feature by creating a sample code, I end up in one silly issue where the program was not able to compile, and it was throwing some weird error. And later, when I digged into it, I found this is a known issue with the compiler. So at this moment, if you try this feature, you will end up seeing some build errors, and but it is well documented known issue in the GitHub. You can find that issue here in this link, but there is a workaround for that to get rid of this issue. But hopefully we can expect this issue will be resolved in the upcoming version or in the final C Sharp 8 release. Okay. Okay, let us get into the code. Let us look at the code to see like how to write or use this feature. Okay, let us jump into the code. Okay, before going into the code, just I want to show those two things. One is this async enumerator. Yep, this is the GitHub as a NuGet library, async enumerator. You can see it's a yeah, pretty good usage. It has almost the same kind of syntax to enumerate the in async way. Okay, and also this is the other issue I was telling about, the known issue. So if you try to build a program, you will exactly see this kind of error. And yeah, so we have a workaround defined in this one. I'll show what is that workaround. Okay, let us straight away jump into the code. Okay, so basically I want to show a non-async version of a code and also an async version of the code. So basically this is an console application, and its project type is console application. And as I already mentioned in my previous video, this is set to C Sharp 8 language version beta. Okay, another key thing is I'm using um, framework version as .NET Core 3.0, because these async enumerables are available in .NET Core 3, so I'm using it. I'm not using that NuGet package version. Okay, so this is the workaround for that issue. Just we need to copy paste this code, which tweaks some compiler and some threading related events to fix that issue. So it's a straightforward copy paste. Just I created a bridging because it's trying to bridge a gap between what is expected in the final version and this current issue. So I just named it as a bridge and I copied, so this will fix that issue. Okay, so this is a console application. Nothing is there at this moment, just it's a public static void main, and yeah, it is. And I have another class where I want to write the code. So what exactly I'm going to try here is I'm going to create a method initially, but non-async method, which this method pretends to do a long running operation, and it assumes each step is going to take some time, and it is going to yield return a value after each step, pretending it's busy or operating a complex logic, and it's going to return a value after that, and it is going to return a series of value one after other, which can be which it's going to actually return as an yield value where it can be enumerated. So that's what exactly I'm going to try to do. So for this exercise, I need a employee class. Just basically this will be the payload data, name, age and department are the three property. Now So this functionally what this exercise is like, it is going to be an I'm going to simulate an employee onboarding. So we know that when an employee onboards into an organization does a lot of things like setting up its ID, setting up its access, building access, coupons, project assignment, employee ID creation, a lot of things. So this functionality is going to pretend that it is going to set up an employee, and it is going to set up all different types of access and provisions that an employee needs to onboard, and it is also going to pretend that it is talking to various other services and taking time to complete this one. So that is what this method is going to do, and it is going to return and yield return a value after setting up each entity. And that's what I'm going to do here. So let me start putting the methods. So employee onboarding. uh, okay, okay, this is the um, enumerable so this is an on non async version. So basically it is a setup method. It takes an employee object, and let me get the other dependent information. So these are all the steps that this method is going to run to provide access, like giving a building access, HR account setup, laptop assignment, and all these things it's going to do. So these are all the steps this is going to perform. And then what exactly it's going to return is it's going to return a progress, setup progress. As it progress each step, it want to return the status, but in a strongly typed object, because this is going to hold some few metadata information, like what's the current step it's doing and how much so far progress and those things. So let me bring that class as well. Okay, it's a simple class, progress percentage, how much it's progressed, and what is the comment, like how much how many steps completed so far, and what is the current progress step, what's happening. So these three things. Okay. Yep. Now let me build this one to see like if it is building without any error. Yep. Okay, so this is working fine. So note this is not an async version, just it is going to return one after other value. And also, yeah, so it is looping through all these steps that it needs to do, and it is we are artificially introducing a random delay so that it looks like each step is taking its own time. It doesn't look like we don't want to look it like a stereotypic delay after each step. So just I'm generating a random value and making the thread to sleep for predetermined seconds, and then I'm returning the setup progress, like progress in percentage, and how many steps completed and what is the current step. That's it. So let us call this method and print its value in the program. Okay, fine. So now I'm going to call this one. Yeah, but before calling that one, I want to create an instance of an employee, and now I want to call the method. Okay. Okay. So I'm calling this. It's not employee setup. Employee onboarding. So I'm calling this employee onboarding dot setup and passing this employee instance, and this is going to yield return a value until this complete. So it's going to return each step status as a progress, and I want to print this progress on the console. So I have an utility method print setup progress. Let me bring that method as well. Okay, so this method prints the status, and it sets the cursor position exactly, because I purposefully did this one, because in later I want to make because once I show the async concept, I want to make the program to print process multiple employees at the same time. So I want to print the status at a specific position on the screen. So I'm explicitly setting the uh, cursor position. I'm taking that as an argument, and yeah, cursor position where I want to start printing, especially the y-axis, and the progress object and the employee name. I want to print the currently processed employee name. So self-explanatory, it's printing the employee name, adjusting the position, and printing the uh, progress step and progress percentage and comment, and just putting an inline. So exactly, okay, let us run this one and see like how it looks. Okay, yep, now it's calling. Yeah, we could see the progress is incrementing. 40 out of 100, steps 7 out of 10. Okay, 80, 90, 100. Yeah, press any key to exit. Perfect. So this works. So we are able to call a static method and on async version, and we are able to run it and get the value back. So now let us make this function async. So I'm going to copy this method exactly, replicate it. Okay, now as we know, all the async method as a standard, we make it with a method has an async. So set up employee async. Okay, now I change the method. Now I want to make this method as an async method. Now I made it as an async. Okay, okay, now I want to make it as an I async enumerable. Okay, since I'm using async, I want to make this method. I want to use TPL's delay instead of thread.sleep. Okay, okay, okay. So I'm introducing a delay task. That delay a random. It's equivalent to this thing. So now I have made this method completely async. If you look at I async enumerable, that's it. And since I'm making this as an async method, and I'm waiting and introducing a artificial delay, that's it. Okay, now let us see how to call this in the program. Okay, so I can simply make it as async. Okay, now this is an async method, but it will not allow because for each is not compatible. We want to make it as an await for each. Okay, now this is error is gone, but since it is an await, this if we are using an await, we need to have change the method to be an async method. So yeah, we can use auto fix to introduce that one, make this method async. Now this main method is become async task because we cannot have a void as an return type for async method. Now now we completely change this as an async method. Let us run it. So yep, we can see it is progressing, but now the interesting thing is it's now async method. Okay, fine, let it complete. Okay, 100% complete. Okay, so now let me make this as a multiple call, like we want to do two employee objects at a time. So let me copy this thing one more time. new employee Alex HT. Okay, so what I'm doing is making another call. Okay, e2. So I want to print, I know it will print for 5 lines, so from the 6th line onwards I want to print for the second employee. So line 6 2. Okay, since we are having await keyword before these things, it will wait here until all of them complete before going to process second employee. So we don't want it to be have await. So what I want to do is, instead I want to make it a task based. So where t1 equal to task dot run lambda expression. Okay, now wrap this entire thing in a task. Okay, okay, now we need to make this as an async lambda expression. Okay, so now this is going to be an TPL call, where this entire call will be an async. Let me replicate this for one more employee. As I already mentioned, we want to print from the 6th line employee 2, employee 2 dot name. This one is T2. Okay, yep, I change everything fine. Now we don't need this thing. Okay, okay, perfect. Now we don't need this async task. It can be an void main. Okay, perfect. We don't need async. Pretty good, looks good. Saved it, build it, run it. Okay, so it is processing. So library account allocation. Yep, perfectly doing well. Now both step 10 of 10, 10 of 10 is complete. Means like it was able to process 2 employees at the same time. Everything's fine. Fine. Just the screen rendering looks bit um, just overlapping because of the positioning, or otherwise it looks fine. So the progress for each of the step looks good. So yep, perfectly looks fine. E1, E1, E1. Okay, E2, E2. Yep. Okay, okay. So yeah, one more thing we need to do. Yeah, because we are calling these two things, let us wait for them to complete. Task dot wait all T1, T2. Let us wait for these two tasks to complete. Okay, now let us run this thing. Okay. Perfect. 40, 50, 50, 50, 50. John Alex. Workstation 80, 80, 100, 90, 100. Okay. Press any key to exit. Okay. Perfect. Exactly. Got it. Okay. Yep. Not a very complicated feature. Just it provides few options to make the enumerables asynchronous, and we can return an new version of enumerable, which is async enumerable. And when you use await, and this call will make it as an async enumerator, and it provides few other couple of classes like await for each